the master at work.
There we go.
Rothy's gonna throw with his feet.
Okay. She's gonna be the first person on YouTube.
First of all, if I didn't plan on doing this really, but period 2 wanted me to do this, so I did it for them because they did such a great job cleaning up. You guys did too.
Can you really do what you do?
You still don't believe me, do you?
No, I still don't believe you.
Go Rothy!
So anyways,
What's up?
folks, I want to talk a little bit about. I want to talk a little bit about one of my teachers. You guys don't have to. Whatever. Paul Soldner. You guys may have heard me talking about Paul Soldner in the past. He's known for American Raku because he went over to Japan in the early 60s and he experienced their tea ceremony with the Raku process, which was taking the piece out of the kiln when the glaze was melted and putting it into water and then having the tea ceremony right there. So he brought that back to the United States and he decided to try that. And he was getting some pretty bad results with the glazes. So he started, he tried rolling them in leaves and then covering them. And then the smoke got into the glazes and had an interesting effect. And so then they started putting the pieces into metal containers with combustibles in there, and then putting the lid and letting them smoke for about 20 minutes. And that had an interesting effect on the clay and the glazes, so it became popular throughout the world because he used to do demonstrations and workshops all throughout the world. And so now if you go in somewhere else, like another spot in the world and you see him doing Raku, that's how they do it. They put it into combustibles. Anyway, so he became, and then he was an interesting guy. He used to experiment a lot with different techniques for clay, and he built this wheel here. He had his own pottery equipment business, and then he also built our clay mixer, and he used to build kilns. He taught me how to build kilns also. And I studied with him a couple different places. One was at the Anderson Ranch Art Center in Colorado, where they have a great art center out there. It's near Aspen, a place called Snowmass. And then I also studied with him in graduate school at Claremont Graduate School. He taught at Scripps College and Claremont Graduate School for many years. So anyways, but when I was in Mendocino, after I graduated graduate school, I went up to Mendocino to be the director of the ceramics program at the Mendocino Art Center. And I was there for 15 years. And it was pretty cool because we had 2 studios about this size, sort of right next to each other. And in one, we used to have classes a certain time of year. And then the other one, we had artist in residence program, where after people would get their bachelor degree in ceramic art or master's degree, they'd come and work and just use the studio space, and we'd all have about, there was about 5 or 6 of us that would use that space and share that space. And there was, one year there was a woman who used to throw with her feet, and she taught me how to throw with my feet, and I just tried it. And it's a little tricky, but it really helps if you know how to throw with your hands. It makes it a lot easier to throw with your feet. So, anyways, before you add water, it's a good idea to, while the wheel's turning slowly, I've already taught you this. Except for I'm using my feet, except my hands. Let's slap it on like that.
Watch the epicness.
I usually do this. First of all, for example, period 6, all the seniors are missing out on this. I usually do this for all the students. Once a year, I do this. But I usually just use one bucket and try to. It made sense. I was like, oh, it'll be easier. But anyways, I usually paint my toenails for this. It makes it more exciting. The students think it's funny. And then I have toenail polish on my toenails for the rest of the summer. And when we go, and then I, sometimes, often in the summertime, I wear sandals. I would go to, say, Home Depot or something like that. My kids, and I'm wearing sandals with toenail polish. My kids don't want anything to do with me now. Act like they don't know me.
Like, I'm sorry, are you my dad?
Check out my dad's feet. Thumbnails, man, go.
But I'll tell you one thing about throwing with your feet, and that is that if you try it, you will definitely use muscles that you've never used before, and you may be sore the next day. I always am, actually, a little bit. I'll notice, and I'll wake up and I'll be like, why are my legs sore? And then I'll think back, oh, that's right, I was throwing with my feet yesterday. And then the other thing about it is how it feels on your feet. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's
Does
kind
it
of
like tickle at all though?
foot massage, that kind of thing. I don't know if you've ever had a foot massage or not.
Ever had somebody clean your feet with a wet wipe?
What's that?
Ever had somebody clean your feet with a wet wipe?
Wet pipe?
A wet wipe.
Wet pipe.
A wet pipe is gonna clean my feet.
No, I never have. Does it feel good?
Feels weird.
Yeah. This feels weird also. You can use your toes or your heel. Heel seems to work pretty good. I don't know if you guys have checked out that picture over there on the wall, but those are a couple of my students a few years ago, and they thought that they wanted to try it, so they started throwing with their feet. They got pretty good at it, actually. Now this is where it really gets. This is where it really gets tricky. I mean, centering the clay is hard enough, but trying to pull the clay is really where it's difficult.
It's a skill level.
To tell you the truth, you don't get a lot of pulling done.
So would you say it's an effective throwing method though?
What do you mean?
Like if you can't pull the clay all that much, is it worth making it for like a piece?
Making a piece?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worthwhile
You can tell people you
to
go.
do it.
"This
The
is
experience
easy."
alone. I mean, even if the piece doesn't come out, it's an interesting experience. Second of all, if the piece does come out, I usually sign the bottom of these pieces either foot bowls or foot vase or whatever. And I give these things away often, and I tell them, say, I made that one with my feet.
It sounds like the beginning of a joke. You'd be like, I'm so good at ceramics, I made this with my feet. And people would be like, you're kidding.
This is where it's tricky. You have to hold steady. And sometimes we lose them. They start to wobble, and that kind of, in a sense, that kind of gives it some character. Smooth out the rim a little bit. Really, the focus is on the inside. want a nice inside shape because you're going to trim the outside later. Let's see. You guys, can you hand me Kayla, can you hand me a small sponge? Yeah, anyway. It's like
Oh my
I usually
gosh.
don't. I'm not very good at holding a sponge with my toes. It's really hard. Some people are really good at it. They have like big old long,
My brother can use his feet.
long toes, and they can. I'm actually not that good.
My brother pinches me with his feet all the time.
That's
Spill my
weird,
dog
bro.
water.
It is really weird.
It'd be on YouTube.
But it's
This
good
is
to
epic.
remove the water on the inside. Better not let go. Yeah.
Lost the sponge.
Oh, it's gonna be tricky to get out.
We can only get a couple more minutes of video.
Not 7 minutes. What do you mean you can only get a couple more minutes?
Up right
Ooh,
here.
to get on YouTube, it has to be less than 15 minutes.
I hope I didn't go down too far.
Otherwise, I
Right,
could
put
keep
it up.
filming for a long time. Until I run out of power.
So I had this teacher, Paul Solner, I was telling you about. You guys can turn your phones off. Because I don't want you guys to film this part.
Right.